All right, because many of us are sitting at our desk, typing, arms going forward, everything's here. We're gonna do some really simple shoulder stretches. I think this is a really great complement to the rib cage stuff that we did last week. So go back and do that first if you want, and then hop back into this. But it's gonna be a little bit more shouldery and arm stretch. So grab a seat. You could do this again, seated. You might have to play a little bit because I am gonna take you towards a downward dog. So you might have to play a little bit, like if you're at work or something like work, you might have to do some things at the wall instead of on the floor. If you need to sit up on something, go ahead and sit up. And what you're gonna do is you're going to just shake out your arms. I think like feather dusters. I'm just gonna shake, shake, shake. And then you're gonna reach one arm up. Make sure you're comfortable so you're not swaying in your back or having a brace in your neck or your lower back. You want the ribs settled easy over the pelvis and your pelvis nice and grounded. Reach one arm up, bring it across your body, right? It's a pretty, like a yoga stretch. You're gonna take the other arm and cross it underneath, and you wanna bend that bottom arm and pull the top arm across. Just start with this, right? Pulling that top arm across, letting the shoulder blade on that side pull across. Breathe. I'm trying not to super twist my torso, but trying to square it off. And then come center. Take a moment, maybe move the shoulders and see what that feels like. Then we're gonna add on same side. You lift that arm up, you reach it across. Bottom arm comes underneath and hooks to bend. So I'm grabbing above the elbow on my stretching arm. And then what you're gonna do is bend the arm you're pulling across. Bend that elbow. Take the backs of the hands together, or if you're flexible enough, you take the palms or the fingertips and palms together. Now, from here, you're gonna lift your elbows and you imagine you're reaching your elbows away from you. I like to think about my collarbones widening as I lift and reach my elbows. Now, sometimes I wind up cheating and my hands are like at my forehead. So play with it. Is that where you can go right now? Hands at your forehead, elbows reaching, and then could you slowly start to bring your hands so your elbows are like a 90-degree bend? Breathe there a few times. Lift and reach to the elbows, and then unwind. Take a moment there, do a little shoulder roll, and notice how it feels maybe a little different. And then this next one, what you're gonna do is same thing. You're gonna take that, well, same thing but different. You're gonna take that same side arm back behind you. And if you're seated on like a chair, you might have to scoot to the front edge of your chair. I'm on this sort of booster seat, so it's a little bit farther for me to find the ground. So what I might do is just reach that arm back. I'm reaching through the fingertips really nice and long and strong. And then I'm gonna take my other hand, I'm just gonna grab my upper arm. So I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see this. So as I grab that upper arm, you may not be able to even get your arm around. So you just think about reaching that arm back, aim your chest slightly towards the ceiling, like there's a string pulling your chest towards the ceiling. If you can grab that arm or even that hand, that's great. If you've got a surface you can rest it on, so like if I take this box that I'm sitting on away, I can tense my fingertips onto the ground. So if you're on a chair, you can put your fingertips on your chair and just lift the chest. You're gonna be rotated slightly in the direction of the arm you're working, and you're gonna breathe. And as you hold and breathe there, all of this tissue that gets so stuck from the breastbone across those ribs into the coracoid process and your humeral head, like all of that needs to open and move, right? So you could take that hand to the front of the chest and be like, oh, this is the part that's gotta let go a little. Maybe you look the head in the opposite direction and then in the same side direction, and then find center. And then bring that arm back and do some shoulder rolls. Whoa, it feels like totally different. All right, so let's calibrate, do the other side. Other arm reaches forward. You bring it across. Bottom arm hooks the top arm, right? And then you just pull that arm across, trying to keep yourself square. I was already rotating. So you try and keep yourself square and you breathe. Straight arm on this first pass. Letting your scapula move a little bit and feel that stretch and pull. I'm gonna wiggle on this side because this is my dominant hand that I'm stretching right now. So, you know, it's different. And then you unravel. You take a little shoulder roll, check in, and then you do it again, but we add on. Bring the arm out and across, bottom arm hooks, then you bend the top arm too. Backs of the hands can press together. If you have the mobility, you take fingertips and palms together. So my bottom arm pulls in and then touches the palm of the top arm. If not, just back of the hand to back of the hand, right? That's fine too. Then once you get your setup there, you're going to reach your elbows a little forward and lift them up. As you do this, is like where you are today, are you just able to bring the hands to the forehead or in that direction, or can you bring the hands away? Woo, so you're truly doing a 90-degree bend, and this is crazy. If you stay there and you move your head around a little bit, you might feel some very interesting places in your neck and shoulder and rotator cuff there. Breathe there, reach the elbows out and up, as close to a 90-degree bend of your elbows as possible. And then you unravel. Little shoulder roll. All right, then you're gonna take that hand behind you, either on your seat or wherever you are. Remember, if you don't have anything to brace your hand on, you can grab that hand or that upper arm and pull it back, or you could just reach the fingers and think about it. But if you've got like a chair or a table or something behind you, tent those fingers, press down on, and you're gonna be twisting a little bit in that side, but don't think about overly rotating. It's just a little bit. Hand to the chest, or hand is grabbing that arm. As you think, a string on your breastbone lifts it on a diagonal, and you just open that. And you breathe, and you notice what the feeling is even down in the fingertips there, right? Can you get the collarbone, especially between the shoulder here, into this little groove? Could you think about lifting that up towards the ceiling a little bit? That doesn't mean it's always supposed to be lifting towards the ceiling, but it's a really nice balance for it always pulling down. And then release that when you're ready and do a little shoulder roll and see how that feels. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna do both arms in that stretch behind us, and then we're gonna come forward. So I would say you could do this at the wall, you could do this kind of between your seat, like your office chair, and then the wall, or you could do this on the mat like I'm gonna do. So seated comfortably, I'm gonna bend my knees and have my feet planted. I'm gonna take both hands behind me onto the ground. Now if you're doing this in a chair, you just scoot forward to the front of your chair, feet are on the ground, hands tented behind you. You stretch your arms as straight as you can. You think about reaching down and out through your fingertips, diagonal lift of the chest up and out. Play with, does it feel good for you to lift your chin up or pull your chin down? My shoulder blades are kind of retracted here, meaning they're squeezing a little bit together. And I'm noticing is one side squeezing towards my spine more than the other, and I'm just trying to find that. And I'm lifting, it's like lifting the front of your armpits up and open. Breathe there. One more. And then release that. Bring your arms around, like internally rotate your arms, so turn them in and lead with your pinky fingers forward towards your front of your body or your feet and around your body. If you are doing this seated and standing, take your hands against a wall. If you're doing this on the ground, take your hands on the ground, and then take your butt and your hips away from your feet. Press through your arms and notice if that feels any different than your normal kind of just downward dog if you were to hop right into a yoga class. And breathe there, and don't think shoulders necessarily jamming down or shoulder blades too far out. Just think reach through your arms and let that lengthen the side of your body. Breathe deeply there, pull the waist in, and then come all the way down, and you're done. All right, so we'll continue our simple stretches next week. I look forward to seeing you there. Again, I'm Nicole Watkins, teaching for Kaira Studios, and we hope you stay strong, stay healthy, and stay home.